A used car is supposed to lose value the moment you drive it off the lot. So how is it that a 50 or 60-year-old car, a machine that is slower, less safe, and less reliable than almost anything in a modern showroom, can sell at auction for more than a house? Sometimes for more than 10 houses. The best classic cars have quietly become one of the strangest asset classes on Earth, and the reasons why say as much about people as they do about cars. First, the scale of it, because it is genuinely hard to believe. In a single recent year, collector cars sold at auction and online for around $4.8 billion, an all-time record. Individual sales sound like typos. A modern-era Ferrari Enzo crossing the block for over $9 million, a 1990s F50 for nearly $9 million. And at the very top, a rare 1960s Ferrari selling in Monaco for over 16 million euros. These are not one-off flukes. They are the visible peak of a market where the right car, in the right condition, with the right history, has outperformed stocks, gold, and property over some periods. And it is not only the seven-figure legends. Whole tiers of once ordinary cars, the ones enthusiasts actually grew up with, have quietly doubled or tripled in value over the last decade or so. So the obvious question is, what on earth are people actually buying? The foundation is scarcity, but a very particular kind. When these cars were built, nobody thought of them as treasures. They were products. Many were raced, crashed, rusted, or simply scrapped when they got old and cheap. So a model that might have had a few hundred examples when new can have only a few dozen genuine survivors today. And crucially, the number can never go up. No factory is making more 1962 anything. Combine a shrinking supply of survivors with a growing pool of wealthy buyers, and you have the basic engine of the whole market. But scarcity alone is not enough. Plenty of rare things are worthless. Something has to make people want them. That something is mostly nostalgia, and it runs on a surprisingly reliable clock. People tend to chase the cars they lusted after as teenagers, once they reach the stage of life where they can finally afford them. That is usually their 40s, 50s, and 60s. So the value of a given era of car tends to rise as the kids who taped its poster to their wall grow up and grow rich. It is why the desirable decade keeps shifting forward over time. The muscle cars, then the supercars of the 80s and 90s, each having their moment as a new generation of buyers ages into money. You are not really buying a car. You are buying back a feeling from when you were 17. There is also a newer force, and it is about what modern cars have become. As new cars turn into sealed computers, full of screens, software, driver aids, and subscriptions, the raw mechanical honesty of an old car starts to feel rare in itself. A vintage engine you can hear and smell, a gearbox you have to master, steering that talks back to your hands. For a certain kind of buyer, that unfiltered, slightly difficult experience is exactly the point, and it is something a brand new car increasingly cannot offer at any price. The old car is not just a memory. It is an escape from the direction everything else is going. But not all old cars are treasure, and this is where most people misjudge the market. Two seemingly identical cars can differ in price by a factor of 10, based on things you cannot see from the driver's seat. History is everything. Who owned it, whether it is the original engine, whether it won a famous race, how many owners it has passed through, and whether every repair is documented in a thick folder of paperwork. A car with a continuous, provable story is a blue-chip asset. The same model with a murky past, replaced parts, or a rebuilt shell is just an old car. In this world, the documents can be worth more than the metal. And that is the tension at the heart of all this. Once something becomes a reliable store of value, money floods in and treats it purely as a financial instrument. Online auction platforms have made buying a car from across the world as easy as buying a stock, which has widened the pool of buyers enormously. But it has also filled the market with people who never turn a key, who buy purely to sell higher later. When that happens, prices can detach from any love of the actual object and start to look like pure speculation. Cars that should be driven end up sealed in climate-controlled storage, wrapped and untouched, valued precisely because nobody uses them. We know how that story can end because it has already happened once. In the late 1980s, blue-chip classics, especially Ferraris, went vertical as speculators piled in and treated them like currency. Then, at the turn of the 90s, the bubble burst. Values of some of the most sought-after cars fell by roughly 70%, and a lot of people who had bought purely as an investment were badly burned. The market eventually recovered and went on to new highs, but the lesson stuck around. A classic car can be a brilliant asset, right up until the moment everyone remembers it is also just a car. So why are classic cars worth millions? Because they sit at the exact meeting point of three powerful forces: genuine, permanent scarcity, deep emotional nostalgia that reliably passes down the generations, and a flood of investment money looking for something rare, beautiful, and finite to park itself in. Strip away the price tags, and the appeal is oddly human. In a world where almost everything is mass-produced, disposable, and constantly updated, a perfectly preserved machine from 60 years ago is a rare thing indeed. Something that was built once, cannot be built again, and only becomes more itself as the years go by. Subscribe for more of the hidden forces that shape the machines we love.